You are likely looking at a small, oval piece of metal. Maybe it's on a chain around your neck right now. Maybe you've seen it dangling from a rosary or tucked into a wallet. It's cheap to produce. It's made of aluminum or silver. It's everywhere. But do not let the simplicity fool you. This isn't just religious jewelry. It is a contract. It is a conduit. And quite literally, it is a design drafted in heaven and delivered to earth during one of the most chaotic moments in human history. Most people wear it, but they are doing it wrong. They treat it like a charm, missing the specific, terrifyingly powerful promise that comes with it. Today, we are not just telling a story. We are decoding a message. We are going back to 1830s Paris, to a room filled with silence and silk, to understand why this specific object has been credited with stopping plagues, converting radical atheists, and defying the laws of physics. This is the deep dive into the Miraculous Medal. To understand the weight of this object, you have to understand the world it was born into. We aren't starting in a peaceful church. We are starting in a nightmare. It is the 19th century in France. The air is thick with the smoke of revolution. The monarchy is crumbling. The streets are violent. And looming on the horizon is a cholera pandemic that is about to turn Paris into a graveyard. The veil between life and death is razor thin. And in the middle of this chaos, miles away from the noise of Paris, in the quiet village of Fin-les-Moutiers, a 9-year-old girl is standing on a chair. Her name is Zoé Labouret. We know her as Saint Catherine, but right now she is just a child whose heart has just been ripped out. Her mother has died. And in a moment of pure, desperate grief, the kind that only a child can feel, she reaches up to the wall. She pulls down a statue of the Virgin Mary. She clutches it to her chest, hugging the cold plaster as if it were warm flesh, and she whispers a contract into the silence. "Now you will be my mother." That wasn't just a sweet sentiment. It was the first step of a journey that would lead her to the Rue du Bac in Paris, to the Daughters of Charity. Catherine was uneducated. She was a farm girl. She wasn't a theologian or a philosopher. She was exactly the kind of nobody that heaven loves to use to confuse the wise. And their target wasn't a rival or an enemy. It was a 14-year-old boy who had never done them wrong. Catherine is now a novice nun. She goes to sleep with a tiny piece of linen, a relic of St. Vincent, hoping, praying, that she might see the Mother of God. The clock strikes 11:30 p.m. The convent is dead silent. Deep asleep, Catherine hears a voice. Not a dream, but a voice in the room. "Sister, sister, sister." She wakes up. She pulls back the heavy bed curtains. And there, standing in the darkness, is a child of pure light, maybe 4 or 5 years old. The child doesn't speak in riddles. He gives a command. "Come to the chapel. The Blessed Virgin is waiting for you." Now pause. Imagine the fear. It's the middle of the night. Breaking the rules means expulsion. But Catherine gets up. She follows this glowing child into the hallway. And here is the first impossibility. Everywhere the child walks, the lamps are lit. The corridors are blazing with light, even though no human hand lit them. They reach the heavy chapel door. It's locked tight. But the child touches it with the tip of a finger, and the lock snaps open. The door swings wide. Inside, the chapel is blazing. It's lit up like Christmas midnight mass. But it's empty. Silence. Catherine kneels by the director's chair, and she waits and waits. The tension builds. And then, she hears it. It wasn't a choir of angels. It wasn't a thunderclap. It was the sound of silk, the distinct, crisp rustle of a heavy silk dress moving across the sanctuary floor. Catherine looks up, and there she is. The Virgin Mary, breathtakingly real, walking down the steps, sitting in the priest's chair. Catherine doesn't think. She doesn't recite a prayer. She throws herself forward. She rests her hands on the Virgin's lap and looks up into her face. Catherine later described this as the sweetest moment of her life, a moment that language couldn't even touch. They spoke for 2 hours. Mary warned her about the blood that would flow in the streets of Paris. She gave her a heads up on the political chaos about to explode. But she ended with a directive. "Come to the foot of this altar. Here, graces will be poured out on all who ask for them." But that was just the preparation. The real mission came 4 months later. November 27th, 1830, 5:30 p.m. Catherine is in the chapel again. The rustle of silk returns. This time, Mary isn't sitting. She is standing, and she is showing Catherine a picture that she wants the whole world to see. Mary is standing on a globe. Under her foot, a serpent is being crushed, the ancient symbol of evil being defeated. In her hands, she holds a golden ball, lifting it up to heaven. She says, "This globe represents the entire world, and every person in particular." Then, the image changes. This is the part you need to visualize because it's the blueprint for the medal you might be wearing. Mary's hands open. Rings appear on her fingers, covered in precious gems. Light blasts out of these stones, cascading down onto the globe beneath her. The light is blinding. It represents grace. But Catherine notices something strange. Some of the gems are dark. They are dull. No light is coming from them. She asks why. And Mary's answer is haunting. She says, "These are the graces for which souls forget to ask." Think about that. It implies there is a treasury of help, of miracles, of peace that is sitting there, ready to be given. But it remains locked away simply because nobody bothered to ask for it. Then, an oval frame creates a border around the vision. Gold letters burn into the air. "O Mary, conceived without sin, pray for us who have recourse to thee." This is massive. This is 1830. The Church hasn't even officially defined the dogma of the Immaculate Conception yet. That wouldn't happen for another 24 years. Yet here is the prayer, dictating the theology before the theologians even signed off on it. The command is given. "Have a medal struck after this model. All who wear it will receive great graces. They should wear it around the neck. Graces will abound for persons who wear it with confidence." The vision rotates. We see the back of the medal, a large M for Mary, interlocking with a cross. It's a structural statement. You cannot have the cross without Mary. She supports the mission of her Son. Below that, 2 hearts, one crowned with thorns, Jesus, one pierced by a sword, Mary, and surrounding it all, 12 stars. It was a complete theological download in a single visual design. But having a vision is one thing. Getting it made is another. Catherine tells her confessor, Father Aladel. And like any good, prudent priest, he tells her she's imagining things. He dismisses her. He calls her a visionary, in a mocking tone. For 2 years, Catherine is trapped between a command from heaven and the skepticism of earth. But then, the hammer drops. The cholera epidemic hits Paris in 1832. It is a massacre. People are dying so fast they are being buried in mass graves. The fear is palpable. In this desperation, the Archbishop finally gives permission. "Make the medal," he says. "If it's from God, it will work." The first 2,000 medals hit the streets of Paris in June 1832. And almost instantly, the logic of the world breaks down. The Daughters of Charity start handing them out in the cholera wards. Patients who are on death's door, gasping their final breaths, touch the medal and recover. Soldiers walk away from battles unscathed. It wasn't a slow burn. It was an explosion of miracles. The people of Paris, not the clergy, but the regular people, stopped calling it the Medal of the Immaculate Conception. They gave it a new name. They called it the Miraculous Medal. By 1836, the Church launched a formal inquiry and said, "Yes, this is real." By 1876, over 1 billion of these medals had flooded the planet. But maybe you're skeptical. Maybe you think, okay, placebo effect. People believed they would get better, so they did. Enter Alphonse Ratisbonne. If you wanted to design the perfect anti-Christian, it was Alphonse. He was a wealthy Jewish banker. He didn't just disbelieve in Catholicism, he hated it. He mocked it. He considered it a superstitious cult for the weak-minded. In 1842, he's in Rome, debating with a Catholic convert named Baron de Bussières. The Baron challenges him. "If you're so sure this is all nonsense, wear this medal and say the prayer for a few days. What do you have to lose?" Ratisbonne laughs. He takes the medal. He says he'll do it just to prove how stupid it is. He writes in his diary about the detestable superstition. A few days later, he is waiting for the Baron in a church in Rome. He's bored. He's looking at the art, criticizing the architecture. Suddenly, the church disappears. He can't see the columns. He can't see the pews. All he sees is light. Concentrated, brilliant light coming from one chapel. He tries to look away, but he's dragged toward it. And there, standing on the altar, living and breathing, is the woman from the medal. She is radiant. She doesn't say a word. She just gestures with her hand for him to kneel. In that nanosecond, Alphonse Ratisbonne's entire worldview is incinerated. He falls to his knees. When the Baron finds him, this arrogant, hateful skeptic is weeping, clutching the medal. He knows the Catholic faith. He understands the sacraments. He knows it all, instantly. He begs for baptism. The transformation was so radical, so impossible to explain psychologically, that it became one of the key proofs that the medal was exactly what it claimed to be. Meanwhile, what about Catherine, the woman who started it all? She pulled off the greatest disappearing act in history. For 46 years, she lived in that convent. She scrubbed floors. She fed chickens. She cared for the elderly who shouted at her. And nobody, not the other nuns, not the public, knew she was the visionary. She watched the medal become a global phenomenon, and she never took an ounce of credit. She remained hidden in God. She died in 1876. But the story has one final twist. In 1933, 57 years after her death, the church exhumed her body as part of the canonization process. They opened the coffin, expecting to find bones and dust. Instead, they found her sleeping. Her body was incorrupt. Her skin was soft. Her eyes were blue. The hands that had rested on the lap of the Virgin Mary were perfectly preserved. Today you can go to Paris, walk into the Rue du Bac, and see her. She is still there, a physical testament to the reality of the grace she preached. So what does this mean for you? The Miraculous Medal isn't magic. It's not a good luck charm. It is a challenge. It challenges us to believe that the veil between us and heaven is thinner than we think. It challenges us to ask for help. Remember the dark gems on Mary's fingers? The graces that nobody asks for? This medal is Mary saying, I have help for your marriage. I have help for your addiction. I have help for your fear. Why aren't you asking? It is a shield. It is a weapon. And if the stories of the last 2 centuries are anything to go by, it works. If you have a story about the Miraculous Medal, a moment where you felt that grace intervene, drop it in the comments below. These stories aren't just history. They are happening right now. And if you want to go deeper into the mysteries that surround us, hit that subscribe button. We are just scratching the surface. O Mary, conceived without sin, pray for us who have recourse to thee.